I started my first print-on-demand business when I was 18 years old. That's 11 years ago. Long story short, I was wildly successful with it in a very short space of time, bringing in over $70,000 in my first few months, with over $45,000 of that being profit. But that was 11 years ago. The print-on-demand landscape has drastically changed. Many more people are in this business. Countless new platforms have cropped up. And, of course, like anything else, it's gotten a lot harder. So, how has my strategy changed in the last 10 years? Well, to answer that, let's start at the very beginning. I guarantee you it's worth sticking around for this because you'll learn exactly what you need to do to be successful with print on demand now in 2024. In 2013, I discovered the platform Teespring. I found a course teaching how to make a print on demand business. I was 18 and fresh out of high school. My goal was to build an app business. But when I found print on demand, that all quickly changed. And back then, Teespring was this crowd-sourced platform, meaning you had to get a minimum number of sales, like a certain number of sales, in order for the item to get printed and shipped. And when setting up a campaign, you'd select a specific goal. The higher the goal, the cheaper the individual t-shirts became. However, it was a risk because the higher the goal, the harder it was to reach. If you created a design and let's say you set a goal of 50 sales in 7 days because it was also time-based, and you only hit 48 sales, you'd lose out on all of those sales. Of course, in that situation, you would just buy the last 2 designs yourself to hit the goal of 50. But generally speaking, people would set a goal of 10 sales to ensure that they reached it. I did that too. I made campaign after campaign with the goal of 10. I went straight into personalization, but not the personalization that we have today. Customers couldn't land on the product and input their own text, whether it's a name or a birthday. I made personalized designs with people's surnames on it, like I'm awesome, I'm a Morris, and then I would advertise these designs on Facebook to everyone who had the last name Morris in that situation. After I saw this taking off, I started creating campaigns with higher goals of 50 sales. And I wasn't just hitting these goals, I was smashing through them like an absolute wrecking ball. This strategy did not last long as Facebook stopped letting you advertise to people by their name. So after that strategy, I moved to targeting people by their job title. Still sort of personalized, but not as much. Less of these took off, but still a good portion did. Bartenders seem to do best, which made a lot of sense as, well, they often wear t-shirts behind the bar. And I sold an absolute ton of bartender t-shirts, like a huge amount. But as time went on, more and more people started copying, and the job niche on Teespring started getting flooded. Time to pivot yet again. Except this time, I was just a little bit burnt out, to say the least. I had already done a huge pivot and I was getting a little bit sick of something not lasting more than just a few months. I saw everyone around me staying in their jobs for years and years, like family members and older friends, and here I am pivoting every few months just to try and earn some money. This isn't what I wanted to be doing. Either way, I continued, and the next thing was events, such as Father's Day and Mother's Day, all that kind of stuff. Another huge niche, except this time I decided to try cross-niching, something I hadn't really done before. We're still in the early days of print on demand, bear in mind, so it made sense that not many people had experimented much. I hadn't seen cross-niching. I created a handful of Father's Day designs as it was literally just a few months away, so it was the first event. And not all of them sold, but my God, one exploded. Absolutely exploded. And this design not only got more sales than any other individual design that I ever did, and to this day, I regret setting my Teespring goal to 10. I easily lost out on an extra $5,000 of sales because I didn't take that risk of setting a goal of 50 or 100. But Father's Day is a one-day-a-year event, so not much of a business plan. And events don't happen that frequently to make this a viable business. So I stopped. I took a break for a few years. That was it with print on demand. I moved on to create an Amazon FBA business. I designed and sourced product and had them shipped from China. We built a huge brand and started selling slowly but steadily. And this was a completely different beast to print on demand. 100 times harder, if not 1,000 times harder, more annoying, more headaches. It's actually funny. This is just hear me out. I see so many people stop doing print on demand to pursue something easier like Amazon FBA, when in reality, the other business models out there aren't easier. They just come with their own fair share of headaches. Whether it's Amazon FBA or SMMA or any other kind of side hustle or business, they each have their own problems. So don't give up with print on demand hoping that the next one's going to be easier. They're all difficult. Anyway, the business was going well. We had made a lot of money, the high six figures, which for someone in their early 20s, I was just blown away. I didn't have tons of money growing up. We were never like that. So this was a bit of like a pinch yourself moment when we had a brand doing so well. YouTube came next, and that's when print on demand stepped back into my life, but with an entirely new strategy. Teespring was no more, and there were many more players on the block now. Oh, and just to conclude the Amazon FBA chapter, we burnt ourselves out to such a ridiculous level that we decided to leave it. We had money, we were happy, we were comfortable, and we both wanted to move on. My brother and I, we started the business together. We wanted to go on to something far more enjoyable, and for me, it was YouTube and teaching and print on demand. I hated my education in school, really hated it, and I think it was crap. Or maybe I was crap. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, I came out of school not having any understanding of money, finances, investing, housing, interest rates, credit cards, literally any of the important stuff that we needed as adults. And this spurred me into making YouTube videos and teaching. But coming back full circle now to print on demand, as this is what the video is about, how print on demand has adapted over time, it's now a few years later, 2019. And as I said, Teespring existed, but it was a distant memory. They had changed so much, and I was not a fan of the new platform at all. Print on demand had moved on to Amazon Merch on Demand, Redbubble, and Etsy, and these were powerhouses in the industry. So that's what I focused on, starting with Amazon's Merch on Demand and a little bit of Etsy, and then of course dabbling with Redbubble. This whole time period made me realize how important trends were, and for that matter, how important trends still are. I disliked Etsy a lot, and I disliked Redbubble even more, but maybe because of my experience with Amazon in the past, I kind of liked Amazon's Merch on Demand, and this form of Amazon was so much more simple. No seller central, no support needed. We would literally spend hours upon hours upon hours to Amazon's support in our FBA days. But with Merch on Demand, I could just upload my designs. Now, that's not to say it was easy. My God, it was hard. Finding designs that got sales, researching, hitting trends, but also trying to come up with evergreen designs. It was not easy. But I found it super enjoyable, which is why I wanted to do it. The money wasn't amazing, and not only that, people started getting banned, competition started rolling in, the era of copycats was among us. And whilst people still use Amazon, Etsy, Redbubble, and various other platforms to this day, I think print on demand has pivoted yet again to where it is right now. Building a successful print on demand business is not about creating one-off t-shirts anymore, or even creating evergreen t-shirts and plonking them on Amazon. Print on demand is about building a brand, a recognizable brand that has the potential to not die so easily. Yes, you're still doing the research, you're still creating designs, you're still doing a lot of the same tasks as you were doing before, except this time, your business is being underpinned by the brand that you have built. This brand can become a household name. This brand can be sold for a ridiculous amount of money. The potential with building a brand is limitless. Look at Gymshark. Ben Francis started that in his parents' basement, and it's now a worldwide brand known by households everywhere. $1 billion brand. I know this is quite a lofty goal for print on demand, and Gymshark wasn't exactly print on demand, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. And this is just where print on demand has shifted. Don't just look at it as a print on demand business anymore. Look at it like it's a brand that you're building whilst leveraging the print-on-demand fulfillment method that we know so well. Maybe one day when you get big enough, you can cut print-on-demand completely out and start buying t-shirts in bulk and getting them printed and shipped out. That's totally up to you. It's not necessary, but it's a pretty huge step and would very much increase your margins, like drastically increase your margins. So in 2013, print on demand was a find a great design idea and rinse it. In 2024, it's about building a brand, something someone can connect to and resonate with, all whilst using print on demand as the fulfillment method in order to save money on upfront costs. I'm personally super excited about where print on demand has come and how I'm seeing people leverage it to build their businesses. It's an incredibly exciting time, and print on demand isn't going anywhere. But for the first time, I would say in my entire life, I think I found a timeless print on demand method with building a brand, just like we wear clothes from brands. This is a brand, that started 50 years ago or something like that. There is no reason why someone won't be buying designs from my brand in 50 years' time. And I think this whole concept of using print on demand as the fulfillment method for the brand, and then if we get big enough to start our own fulfillment method, that is the ultimate goal. It's the ultimate business model, because now we have, or if we get to that point, we would have a full apparel store, a full apparel brand, not reliant on any print on demand businesses. We would have our own website, our own list, our name would be out there. And to me, that is so flipping exciting. Oh, and just a slight caveat. I share a lot of my story in this video, but I barely touched on the surface. There's huge parts of my story that I've left out as they strayed too far from print on demand to seem relevant for this video. But let me know if you'd like to see the full story someday. It's quite fun. I've done a lot of different businesses, and I'm sure there's a lot that I could share with you if maybe print on demand isn't your thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your print on demand journeys, and more importantly, with your print on demand brands.